So the fathers of the church certainly understood that symbolism was a central part of our human experience of the divine and the spiritual world. The spiritual, I should say, rather than saying the spiritual world, like the spiritual layer of the world. So think of it this way: when we, who are beings of sense with physical bodies who encounter the world and formulate thoughts within the context of those bodies and their senses, because like our bodies really do mediate the way in which we perceive of the world and the way in which we perceive of everything. That's how we encounter things. So when we encounter something that, well, doesn't have a body, something that is not like us, something that we can't really relate to in any meaningful way. So how are we supposed to make any sense of that? The only way that we can really do that is by relating it to concepts that we can wrap our minds around. And even that common phrase, to wrap our minds around something, really demonstrates this principle that I'm trying to get at, this basic principle of how symbolism works. In order to relate to, uh, in order to relate an abstract concept, we have to represent it as something embodied, or something you might say that is physical. So when we look at the scripture, we see this concept pretty clearly laid out all the time. So God, for example, is often described by way of symbolism. Like pretty much always in the Bible, he's described by way of symbolism. Since God is transcendent, there really is no way that we can conceive of him, as Saint Gregory Palamas would say, in his essence. That really just means there's no way that we humans can wrap our minds around something that's completely beyond anything in our experience, especially something that completely transcends that experience. Something that is fundamentally above our entire framework of understanding. But not wanting to leave us in darkness, God reveals himself to us by means of symbolism. So you can think of symbolism as something like a mediator between between the spiritual and the physical, or the divine and the created.